After yesterday, I really need to have a think. Yeah, really need to. I don't want to let yesterday's entire thought process come into my life and try to do something, especially not, you know, starts tomorrow. I think, and this isn't the reason why anything happened, but I think it was partially because I was looking at my journey and I was looking at my end goal as a writer, and I was trying to look at how I could get there the quickest. If I'm being honest, I think that might have been it. It was me just trying to figure out how I can get there the quickest. But it's just not going to work, you know? I can't. I can't speed up the process, you know. It has to happen naturally. It's all in the right timing. It's all in the right will, you know. And I was thinking about they being so annoyed at everything, and I wanted to just sort of write 12 hours a day and never eat, you know. But there was also, you know, the opposite of that of just always giving up and never trying. Because I don't know. But I give myself some tasks, and I find it hard to do them, so I felt the weight and the pressure. Uh, and then I'm looking at these. I'm looking at these two projects for uni, and I'm about halfway with both of them. That's a lie. Maybe like a quarter, but the last quarter is kind of easy because it's like final revision type of stuff. And I think I just thought there was I'm always concrete with what I write. You know, if I write a story down and it looks like that, it has to look like that because I did it. Or I don't think I'm good enough at the process of drafting yet. Of letting words go, you know, of just letting them not be in the final draft. I have I have the half of the Yeti story, and I think the first half is a little bit, you know. I don't think it needs to go that way, you know. And I think I'm just writing it like that for the sake of writing it like that. Uh, I have to grow and not be attached, and I was trying to come on here and make the point, or make the video of what the point of a writer would be. In my case, I know what I want to write about, and I know how I want to write about it. I know I've got, I know I want to be basically somewhat of a traditional storyteller. We're looking at third person omniscient, sometimes over the shoulder, of stories in my place, in my time. Mom's gonna come up. I'll pause it, yeah. Not happened, but I'll keep going. About stories in my place, in my time, what are they yapping about? They came back from shopping. And I've got ideas. But the ideas aren't always going to just come out. Don't know what they be yapping about. Ideas can just be hard and they're always there. And I think the point of a writer is to put those ideas onto paper. I think you're often going to see editors and many other people try to make different changes. I think when you go to workshops, you're going to see people suggest changes, and that's fine. But I think that as a writer, it's not your job to publish something. I'm not really a self-published type of guy, so this is kind of where it's coming from. As a writer, the end goal of your writing isn't to publish it. That's the benefit of the work. For some reason. And then that's a slim choice. That's a hard choice. But look at yourself. Look at the stories in your mind. The whole point of a writer is to write the thing that's in their head. I have a story. Boom. Go ahead. I think I have a discography of sorts that stretch out through Newcastle and they're my end goal. I think I want to write something to do with Shields Road. Obviously, I want to do their Everything in This House Grows Legs. Title idea, that's meant to be my magnum opus. I want to write some stuff about some homeless druggies. In the process of writing this story, I think it's being more and more possible. You know, after writing 2 short stories of some abuse and addiction, I am more comfortable now with the idea of doing something Tortilla Flat-esque. You know, I think ultimately I'm just trying to grab different characters that I know in my head and put them to paper. But so far, I know I got my magnum opus. I know I got my Shields Road, which should also be like a highly focused work on my part. Important. And from that, you know, if I do these 3 works, there's other things I'd like to do. In terms of Newcastle, there's other works. And I'd like to build up a discography that is quite big. I'd like to look at my work in the same lens that I look at Steinbeck's. You know, there's a real core. It's not for the fame. Part of me wants the fame. I don't know what the fame would do. Like, I don't know what the fame could contribute that the work can't. The whole point is that as a writer, and I'm speaking individually, as a writer, I want to write something. That's what I want to do. Obviously, I'll have temptations that come with it. That I want to do this and this and this, and they're all a bunch of weird things that have nothing to do with writing and your skill and your craft. Where you learn ultimately, and where you should spend your most time. Is in the words. Analysing your words, analysing your structure, analysing your paragraphs individually as a whole, your plot points, your descriptions, to see if you've really put what's in your head onto the paper, because sometimes you can get lost there. And that's the point, really. That's why the pursuit is valiant. And I think I want to value my work without the necessity of having it published. All the stories I've wrote so far, I don't care about. Like, I look at them and I don't think, I've done the thing I want, you know? I really devalue them, and I think that's a problem. And I think a large point to do with the up and coming works, not in terms of in a year, but as in an hour, tomorrow, now. Take that discography, take that idea of what I have in my head, and to go after it. The Yeti thing is a project for the sake of fun. It's an experiment. And every other work I'll do, my main work, my main focus in life, is to attempt to explain or write in Newcastle to the absolute best of my ability, and feel as though I've got the tension, the pressure, the sadness and the pain, and I've wrote it all. Yeah. That is a goal. That's the goal. That's the goal. Is to take it and put it on paper. But I'm getting lost in translation. And I'm getting lost in my own head, and I'm getting lost in my own thoughts. I don't think I want to do my magnum opus for my dissertation. even though I started it and I'm quite far in, I don't think I want to do that. I genuinely don't believe I have this skill. But there's other stories. A lot more other stories. This Shields Road one. It's out in Cannery Row. I really want to do it. My cousin, who I'm meant to meet up with today, talked about his granddad. Chinese immigrant. And my uncle, he's jolly enough that he'll say Kunzel. And that's a generational thing. Generational thing. I seldom hear anyone now say Kunzel. It's council. And he has a rich history. Especially car wise. It does tie it up and it does feel sort of Cannery Row esque. If you've read it, with the car stuff, it really does feel like that. And I think I'd want to write something like that, I think his granddad had a shop there in the 50s. And I don't think that I can write the 50s. That's also not a part of my writing. I have to accept that my writing is about a specific place and a specific time, and that's what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to be really good at something really specific. And I think that's what any artist is ultimately trying to do. And I think the pressure of that, is what got to us. I don't know why I was thinking what I was thinking yesterday. I take it all back. Everything I said, I take it all back. I'm not going to die on that hill. I remember some things I said. I don't remember other things I said. I don't believe in most of what I said. I do still have contentions in the heart, but I don't believe in everything I said. Not to myself, at least. I have to go and live the day. And that was really easy for every day before yesterday. I felt as though I was capable of doing it. Now I don't feel so capable. It's scaring us. Because I look at this coming time in my life, and I really want to get better. I really want to learn, and I really want to try and be a better person. And I think this was just a reminder of how far I am yet. Yeah. Don't feel so much pressure. I think a large bit of pressure that I'm feeling right now is reading. I want to, in my head, after this, I'm like, okay, well, who can I read that can help me grow as a writer? After Hemingway, after The Old Man and the Sea. And I thought, I want to read Steinbeck, But I don't want to get into a really thick novel right now. And obviously the thick novel being East of Eden. And I really want to read it. Grapes of Wrath changed a lot for me. Cannery Row, Mice and Men. They all changed a lot for me. Steinbeck's work I take to be literary gospel. I think in the traditional sense of a storyteller, I think this man is the best there ever will be and ever was. And I think he's done which I hope to do. And every story I read from him, I can see a high quality of work, and I can see pressure, and I can see pain, and I can see how difficult it was to finally produce that work. Grapes of Wrath, Mice and Men, Tortilla Flat, Cannery Row, Grapes of Wrath, The Pearl. Now that was a good one. And let me go look at the other ones I've read. The Long Valley, and a lot of the short stories there. The Vigilante is one that I think is absolutely a work of art. It's a work of moral art. And I'm in need of another boost of Steinbeck. When I read Steinbeck and I read his specifics and I read his when I read how he describes and he takes you through his story, even in California, it inspires me and it sparks up my knowledge to sort of do the same with what I know. I know this person, I know they can go there and there and there, and I know all these things happen to them, and I know like it just almost works out, right? I mean, the first line here is, when the crops were undercover on the Wayne farm near Pittsford in Vermont, when the winter wood was cut and the first light snow lay on the ground, Joseph Wayne went to the wing-back chair by the fireplace late one afternoon and sat before his father. This the beginning to A God Unknown, and I think it's the next one I'm going to get into. And I've read that first sentence, just trying to determine whether or not I should read it. And when I read that, I think to myself, I'm about to get a sense of real character here. And I'm going to go into a deep, deep place. And I think I need to go through that. But with the Yeti, obviously, this is not just a work where I get to go have fun and not be good at it. I have to go read. And I think I have to go read Lovecraft. Shadow over Innsmouth is definitely is probably the best horror piece I've read. But I have to go read some more. And I have to go read other things and try to be better at that. And that's the point. You know. And it's getting to us. And the pressure of writing, the pressure of making all this stuff, it got to us. I don't know why. But I have to take a second, I have to take a think, I have to look at my philosophy, and I have to look at what I'm trying to do. And I have to understand it for a minute. And then, and only then, can I go with so much vigor and so much passion, because then I know I'm on the right track. I want to write Newcastle, specifically Biker, to the best of my ability. I want to write it in a really storytell-esque fashion. Really Steinbeckian. Third person, omniscient. I want to tell stories about characters and real people. Real. I want to write death. I want to write pain. I want to write suffering. I want to write grief. I want to write joy and peace. And this is my journey. This is my task. This is my goal. My purpose is this. It's not about how fast I get there. It's about trying to get there. It's the journey that counts. I'm scared of not succeeding in the journey to the destination. But I think that's the life. I think that's the point where you've got to get them doubts and say, you know, you're the fear, right? You're the fear of the thing that makes me never start. You're the thing that makes me never start. What if I fail? Or what if you fly? That this is the thing. The doubt is there. The doubt is that. And I think this is the point of just... This is that point of... Do you take the chance? Do you take the chance that even with all these thoughts in your mind, all this doubt, all the pain that it can cause, even if it's really specific and there's no fame or glory in it, the only fame and glory comes from you and your knowledge that you did what you said you wanted to do. Do you have it? No. Do you have it? Do you want it enough? You know, do you want it? Do you want to go do it? Is this something that you say yes to? Or is this something you quiver away at and you say, it's too hard? It's not something I want to stake my life on. I want to stake my entire life on the production and the mastery of this craft and these stories. I've got many other things in my life that I want to achieve. And yes, they do slow down this process and they do get in the way sometimes. But that's because if I make this my everything, I think I'll become insane. I think I'll value it too much. Because producing this work will be fun, but it'll be nothing. And hopefully it will mean nothing in comparison to my own son. But this is my work. This is my life's work. And a man has to work. This is my life's work. I also have a goal for other things in life. But yes, I'm willing to put my life's work, my drive, my passion, my goals is this. This is my life's work. This is what I've chosen to adopt. It's not to be, and although I enjoy it, it's not to be a great painter. That is to relax. That is therapy. It's not to be a great sportsman. I enjoy sports. It's not to be the world's most healthiest man. I'd like to not be fat. It's not to be... What is that? What is that I like? I don't know. My life has been really based around writing for a while. This is the point of my work, is to be this writer. This is the goal. I like to read things. I'd like to do daily activities that help me make better things and be a better person. And yes, I'd like to be humble, and I'd like to be loved by God, and I'd like to love God, and I'd like to know in my conscience that I am loved and appreciated, and that I am saved, even if I am orthodox, and it's not the point of our religious philosophy. He's on the phone. But yeah, I I have my spiritual battles. I have my works battles. And then I have the rest of my life. I'd like to be a good brother. I'd like to be a good son. I'd like to be a good father, a good husband. I'd like to be a good friend. Simultaneously, I'd like to love my God and love my neighbour. And I'd like to be really good at my work and to find real passion in the process of my work. I think that is the most important thing when it comes to the writing. It's the pursuit. The pursuit is the passion, not the end goal. To live the life that you dream about. Don't dream about the end goal, dream about living the life. And all these other things are just fun things in life. Why am I taking it so seriously? Yes, I took saxophone lesson. Yes, I'm learning. Yes, I'm practicing. Not that serious. I'm just a bit off. So be it. Next I want to learn the trumpet and the violin and the harmonica and the guitar and the piano, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I have this discography of work I want to produce. I have these instruments I want to learn. I have these paintings I want to paint. Do them. One at a time. Have fun with them. Just do them. Just live that life. Just choose to keep living that life. What else is there really? Just that pit of despair. And that never starting. And that fear that you could always not be good enough. So you hang back and you just don't read those books and you never pick up the instrument. And you never put pen to paper, you never write. What I'm gonna write next will be bad. But the point is that it's gonna be perfect. The point is that I'm gonna write and write and write and write. And then you produce a work that'll feel complete. It is what it is. I mean, who's to say that Steinbeck was even happy with Grapes of Wrath's ending, you know? I think I've seen some things, about it being a struggle. I know there was a struggle with Hemingway and some of his stuff and how difficult it was for him to make endings. You're always going to look back and say, I want to change this, I want to change that. Ultimately, maybe even a published work isn't a finished work. It's the difficulty that lies there for a writer. I take Mice and Men. I think it's the greatest thing ever written. What if it wasn't finished? Grapes of Wrath, Look at the ending on that. It's really short. It's really, stark. But maybe that it's a bit off-putting at the same time. So, let me take this for example. I painted this. It's meant to be a candle. I know I could do better. But this thing itself is it's vanished. I can't paint on this. Actually, I need to take this to somebody today. Yeah, I'm thankful I pointed this out. Yeah. Oof. It's gonna be hard. Life's gonna be hard. I don't know what came into my head yesterday, but I think for today, the goal is to try and rid that thought process of yesterday. Try to denounce it and try to get over it. It doesn't deserve all that power. It doesn't deserve so much of a pull in my life. This is who I am. And I'm not a genius. And I'm not clairvoyant. But I'm a writer. I want to be a good husband. A good father. Like the one I didn't have. A good son. A good brother. Gotta speak to my mum now. And a good man. A good man. A good person, a good friend. Overall, somebody who tries his best to make the world a better place with what he knows, with what's in his heart and his conscience. And I've had so many people say so many things about how I should live my life recently. And I've just thought about how it hurts that it's felt like I've been told I'm not able to live that life that's on my heart, that's on my conscience, and it disturbs me because I think, okay, I just can't do this because I know where the betterment lies. I'm obviously not 100%, but I feel myself drawn and pulled in this place, and it feels right, and it feels like each step is right, but then I'm told that it's not. Not directly, it's not the point. When I was trying to be, and still am, trying to become a vegan, I had people say, well, that's just not good. But that's not the point. It doesn't matter if they believe it or not. It matters that it's on my heart. My works are on my heart. Nobody can tell me anything about my works that I'm trying to produce. No one. And they're going to start talking, so I may as well end this. But again, to remind myself, I'm recording on a laptop. They are living their life. This is not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. They're my mom, my brother trying to listen and talk to each other and understand each other. I'm in my bedroom, my four walls, with my privileges, my ease, my comfort, and my life. And I have to go try. And I'm gonna go try. Gotta go try. Try listening to what they're saying. Making food. I'm gonna go to my uncle's anyways. Go watch that new Game of Thrones episode.